Greetings, Internet. So we're going to cover the ins and outs of another plugin today. This will be the solid-state logic native X-Comp. It's a compressor. It does a very, very unique couple features, which I found very, very useful. It's got, instead of running just like a parallel compression, it's got two bleed functions, which you can adjust how much bleed you're letting through on compression. So it's basically a selectable bleed, sort of a parallel combination. Let me give you the rundown of the layout of the compressor, and then we'll play with some samples. So up top, you got a little power button, just a little plug-in version of your bypass. On your left is your just instantaneous metering. On the right is your RMS. So those will go at different speeds. You've got input gain. You've got your threshold controls. And also, if you feel like doing that manually, you got threshold controls in your little center graph as well as your ratio controls. And anyway, you've got threshold, you've got ratio, you've got knee functions, so pretty standard compressor stuff. You've got your attack speeds, pretty standard. Again, this will all look very, very familiar if you're used to just SSL emulators or the bus compressor. Pretty standard compressor stuff here. Release functions, makeup gain. And now into the fun features, you've got on this lower left here, you have got gain reduction meter, and then your history over the last second. So if I hit start here, it'll show how much. It'll show you how much gain reduction you're doing and what it's been doing over the last 1 second. And then next to your history is your max gain reduction. So if you feel like only going down so many dB of gain reduction, you can have it at a minimum of 20. I wouldn't mind them doing it less than that, but that's how they programmed it. And all the way up to 60 dB, which is very, very helpful. Now on the right, this is where you can get a lot of really, really useful tone shaping with your dynamics with this compressor. So instead of running parallel compression, it gives you two bleed functions, a high frequency and a low frequency bleed. Both are selectable. So on the high band from 2 kilohertz all the way up to 12K. And then from 0% bleed all the way up to 100% bleed. And then on your low end, 30 hertz all the way up to 300 hertz. And then a listened function. So a listened function, if I put this on my kick drum, lets you listen to what you are bleeding through. On the right, you've got your output metering and your output RMS metering, as well as output gain controls. So that's it for the quick breakdown. Everything in your little center graph window, you can do a little bit of drag and drop to adjust your threshold and ratio controls, as well as your bleed amount and crossover function. Same thing on your top end. So yeah, it's a very, very quick tutorial on the SSL X-Comp. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see y'all later.